everybody, it's Lo and welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be a get ready with me, so if you want to see that, then just keep watching. Today I want to film a couple videos for my channel, so I figured while I'm putting on makeup, might as well film it because my hosting slash like YouTube filming makeup routine has changed a little bit just because I've gotten a lot of stuff from work. We work with a lot of beauty brands, and after we use their products to make short videos or to do the TikTok lives, we have to take a lot of it home just because it's not like we can send it back and they can resell it or anything. So I do have a lot of new things that I've kind of incorporated into my routine. Lately I felt like it was looking a little like cakey almost, so I've kind of been like switching up my routine. I'm not a makeup girly, so it's definitely kind of like a trial and error, and as your skin changes, your makeup needs to change too. But on a day-to-day basis, I honestly, like, if I'm just working, don't do anything. For things like meetings, like we had a meeting earlier this week, still did use just my Merit mascara, my Merit brow gel, and I did a little bit of the Merit concealer, this one in Bisque. Just kind of put that in, and I think I used the Persimmon blush from Merit. So it's still like my go-to if I like need a little something for like a meeting or a call, whatever that's important, and then I will throw on a little bit of Merit. But I've also been hosting a lot of TikTok lives for the company that I work for. We put on a bunch of TikTok lives and short videos for different brands. So over November, December, I got to host a lot for Stobe and Zwilling, which are two cookware brands. I also hosted a little bit for Benefit, kind of like as a co-host more role. And then in the middle of January, we went to CES, which is the Consumer Electronics some big conference in Vegas. So we were putting on TikTok lives. We did like 3 or 4 shows each day. Got to co-host again for Benefit, and then I co-hosted for Caraway Home. But with that, I've had to like really perfect my makeup. I was going live for like hours, especially the Stoves Willing. We did those back to back, so it'd be like 5 hours of hosting, and this had to stick. And I've also gotten to try out a lot of new products too, but of course I like still have like my classics and my go-tos like Merit and stuff like that. So this is my new hosting slash filming makeup routine from a non-makeup girly, and just kind of like my honest thoughts on like all of the new products that I've tried and kind of why I began incorporating those. Also, a quick side note on how I wanted to be more consistent with posting and have not been consistent like all of January basically. The last video that I did was like a ski prep workout that I was doing and thought I was prepping my legs and doing great, and then I went skiing in Whistler, and on the 3rd day I fell. I ended up skiing again in Park City over Martin Luther King weekend, but turns out I tore my ACL, so I've just kind of been like crippled and busy with work. I'm getting some movement back. I need to have like full range of motion on my knee before I can get surgery, but yeah, that's where I am. Maybe I should have done the workout more than I did and started like my leg prep for ski season more than 2 weeks in advance. You know, we learn for next year, and I'm gonna have a lot of rehab after this, so I'll be back much stronger for next season. We're gonna start off with the makeup now. I just wanted to give a little caveat of why I was like, oh, I'm gonna be so consistent, and then wasn't. I'm gonna start off with this Bare Minerals primer. I got a mini version from Sephora, and I used it just like one of those samples. I was like, wow, I really like this. I knew we had a bunch of Bare Minerals in the studio, so when we were done working with them, I like dug through our little collection of things and grabbed this one. So it's the Prime Time Primer. Usually I like wouldn't wear a primer, but then I started using it and I was like, oh, this is really good. I have the one that has a little bit of a green tint for redness reducing, which is good because I am just like naturally red. I'm kind of putting that in there. Another thing that I've been doing is, usually before I was like putting on my foundation with the beauty blender, and now I still am using a beauty blender. I have it wet and kind of just like drying a little bit, so it's not soaking wet, it's just barely damp. But I've been using my fingers a lot more, which is messier, but I think super helpful. So I'll try to take a shower, and I blew out my hair, so I should probably clip it back so I don't get makeup all up in my hair. It feels weird like doing makeup and just kind of talking to myself because usually I'm in my bathroom, but my bathroom doesn't have good lighting. Even though I feel like this video is really dark right now. Hello? And usually I'm listening to music, so it feels weird that it's like silent in here. Turns out there's a little exposure knob on the camera that was moved. I'm gonna go in now with, as you can tell, I've been using my fingers, this Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue. It's a natural matte tinted moisturizer. It does have SPF. I did do my regular skincare of washing my face, putting on niacinamide, a moisturizer just because I have been getting dry. I've been using the Youth to the People one, and then my Coco Kind SPF. So I'm gonna just put this on top of it, give a little shake. And I have the color Wheat, which is 4.5. Just do like a little bit at first. As you can see, this is why you shake it, because it will separate a little bit. Rub it in my fingers. And the reason I've been using my fingers is because I feel like it just helps it like spread better than the Beauty Blender did. But I've been liking it because the heat from your fingers, like the heat of your hands, helps kind of everything like melt into your skin better. And then at the very end, I just like use the Beauty Blender to make sure there's no finger marks, basically, like no streakiness. I also do a little bit of like redness around my lips. I had an allergic reaction to a lip balm the other night. I woke up looking terrifying and it hurt really bad, but it's gone down, but there's still like a little bit of like redness and dryness on my lips. They've just been dry from being in mountains and dry weather and not drinking enough water. It's definitely not like a full coverage thing. It's more like a base to almost just like even out my skin tone. And then I touch it and that's why it looks all gross. And then I have a few things that I do have. I actually got this from work. It's the Benefit Boing Industrial, and I actually used that when I was hosting a lot on my neck because I went and got acupuncture and then I did cupping and she had an extra cup and she's like, oh, you said you had neck pain. I'll put like this last one on your neck. She put it on. I don't even think, then they give you like a buzzer when they leave just in case something hurts. I don't even think it was on for like 2 minutes. I hit the buzzer because it was so painful. And then I was also thinking, it's my neck, I don't need a cupping mark. Not even 2 minutes it was on. She took it off. So I thought, okay, whatever, I'm fine, I'm in the clear. I go and sit in my car and I open up the mirror and it is huge and dark. And I was like, oh God. So grab some of this and this covers stuff up. I don't need it right now, but I did also grab the Boing Cakeless Concealers. These ones I really like. I have shade 4.5 and 3. So with 4.5, I'm gonna go in just on like some random little red spots and like some old scars I have. So like here, a little bit here, a little bit here. I feel like my skin's like not looking too great right there. A little bit just here. For some reason, makeup just like doesn't stick to my nose. And then like up there. And then go back in with my little tools. And I do like a blot and rub. Just because if I rub too much, then it kind of just spreads way too much. But as you can see, even just like those little dots covered pretty much like a lot of my cheek. If I need to, or if I wanted to, I could go in and like do a follow-up dot on like this little scar right there. I don't feel like it today though. Sorry about the mess that you can see in this mirror. We went through the closets and got rid of a bunch of stuff. So I listed it to Depop and Poshmark. It's a lot of like Austin stuff. So now it's just like sitting there waiting to find a new home. I also did some take back bag. One's like not full enough though, so it's also just sitting over here in this corner because I'm like, I want it to be full before I ship it off. So that's that one. And then I'm gonna go in with 3, which is the lighter one that I have, which I'm just gonna use as like a under eye concealer. And this one I like because it actually is pretty cakeless. That's something like I usually never do like actual under eye concealer because it would get super creasy under my eyes. Just gonna do like a little bit here, like a mini contour situation. So I just like would never use it, but this one I saw our other host using it during a show and I was like, oh, that actually looks really good. So I started doing it too. The ones I was using before, and I still like them, I've just kind of like found that the Benefit ones are almost a bit like thinner in a sense. They are really good about not creasing, but I still have the Cover FX Power Play concealers. That's what I was using before. They just are a little bit heavier. So if you need that for anything, then it does work and I do like it. I'll come in here under the eyes, and under my eyes it is like not looking good, as you can kind of see, just because I am rubbing it in with my fingers. Oh my God, I forgot to do my eyebrows before all this. I usually do eyebrows first. Okay, we'll do eyebrows after, but usually it's eyebrows first. And then I go in and like, as I kind of like make a mess with my eyebrows, then I like go in and just cover up said mess with my face stuff. And now I take my Beauty Blender, which is like very much like, it's very close to being dry, but it's not. And kind of go in and make sure that it is like really not creasing under my eye, around my nose, and then just kind of like going through the rest of my face to making sure it's like pushed in and there's no like finger streaks going on. And then now, before I do anything else, I wash off my hands. So BRB. So as you can see, and maybe it's not as noticeable on camera as it is like in the mirror and to myself, but when I have like face makeup on, like my eyebrows almost like disappear. Like they're still there, but they're almost just kind of like gray, and I feel like the makeup is kind of like eating them. So usually, again, if I'm like not really wearing makeup or just like want to throw a little bit on for something, I will just go in with my Merit brow wax, which I love and I am gonna use to like top off my look. But when I do have more makeup on, I feel like they just kind of like disappear and almost like go gray in a sense. I don't know if you can tell that in camera. I have a few pencils and I kind of just like rotate. I don't really have like a full preference. So I have the Patrick Ta one. This I do like. It's like a very thin tip there, dark brown. And then I grabbed two Benefit ones. This is the Precisely My Brow Pencil, very similar, like skinny tip. And then I think my favorite one right now is the Goof Proof brow pencil from Benefit. I have the shade 4.5. It's like a little bit thicker. This is like the Anastasia one that I like initially used, where it's like that thicker tip. And I just think it kind of just like gets the job done faster. And I don't know what the difference in like formulations is between their two, but I just like it more. So I'm just gonna comb them up. I did tweeze them a little bit last night, but like could do better. Just kind of go in. And usually I like kind of get messy with my brows since I'm doing them first, and then just like clean it up without taking makeup off. But now that I have my face makeup on first because I'm messed up, I'm gonna be a bit more careful. I guess this one almost feels like a bit more like waxy in a sense if I were to talk about the formulas, but actually don't entirely know. As I'm like brushing it out, it's like kind of taking the makeup off above my eyebrows. And I don't like shape them as in like I'm putting completely different eyebrows than what I have on my face. Or it's hard with my desk. It's more so just like filling in like sparse spots because I feel like they're thick in shape but not thick in density. Go in again here and fix this up. You see, not like a huge difference, but to me it makes a big difference. I still want them to look like natural and fluffy, not like when I was in like late high school to college and was doing kind of like that 2016 boxy eyebrow and they were like so dark. Oof, happy I've grown up. Big syrup on this side. So that's brows. And then something I've been doing, I've always used the Laura Mercier translucent powder. I was for a while like baking it on like underneath my eyes and then like even here a little bit and like letting that sit while I would like do eyeshadow or something, which would just typically be my bronzer. But I think that was also contributing to the cakiness. So lately I've just kind of been like way more light-handed, and now I'm just kind of like a bit more chill about it. Makes it a bit more natural. Also washed all my brushes yesterday, which is nice. Or not yesterday, like a few days ago. I have experimented also with putting on more like liquid brush. I have like the cream blush powder duos from Patrick Ta. I like that. They're definitely intense, but I've been experimenting with that. Experimenting with some of like the tints from Benefit, using the Merit ones definitely. And then I've tried like the underpainting or just like doing blush underneath with the Rare Beauty blush. I've had this for a while. It's the shade Virtue, which I'm obsessed with. It's like a thin line between too much. Even some of the Patrick Ta blushes are like, there was one wedding I was getting ready for and wore like my dress was black because my pink dress was, we had a problem with Reformation. We don't like Reformation anymore. And I put on like this pink blush so that way there's like something that pops out. And I put on the tiniest amount and I looked like a clown. So I had to like go back in with like my powder and bronzer and just kind of like even it out so I didn't look like a crazy person. Oof, it was intense. So now I'm just kind of like very lightly throwing this on. And the only reason I am using setting powder, I know like for like dewier looks, maybe no setting powder, but I'm an oily gal, so I need stuff to be locked in. So I still use like a lot of powder products. I know like they like increase the risk of like things looking cakey, but I need it. Still my go-to bronzer is the Ilia one in Drawn In. Also grabbed a couple bronzers of Patrick Ta, but this one I just love. I did get some of these brushes though. These I bought because I saw them and I was like, I want these. Especially when I do like for all my Merit stuff, instead of just using this one brush, it has like the cream side, so that way I'm not like combining colors all in my one brush. Okay, I've also learned to be a bit more light-handed with my bronzer. I love bronzer. I go heavy-handed. I try to contour with it, but I'm trying to be a bit more natural as I put on 20 layers. And a little bit on the jaw, a little bit here, and a little bit. I'm gonna go in with this. I'm not dipping it in more translucent powder. I'm just kind of like helping it like blend the bronzer into everything. So that's contour slash bronzer. And then I'll show you all my new Patrick Tall blushes. I'm gonna use, I also got a few from Benefit. So I have Sunny. This is a new one that I got. It's definitely a bit more corally, not the vibe for right now. Maybe in the summer, it's like a cute one. Willa, this shade I love. This is like the perfect shade for me. I will say though, I love it, but it has a shimmer to it. And I'm usually not like a huge shimmer person just because it like adds to the fact that I feel oily, but I do love it. The blush that I was typically using before grabbing a bunch of stuff was this one from Cover FX. I mainly use the matte side. It's the shade Pink Dahlia. Again, just like a slightly corally-ish pink. I just think it looks really good on me. And then I have, I got this one from House Labs a while back. I never use it. I don't know why, it's actually kind of cute. I don't know why I thought it was like a brighter pink. This is the shade Pomelo Peach. All these are kind of the same shade. I have the Rare Beauty Blush and Virtue. The Merit, I have Persimmon, Fox, Beverly Hills, and Apres. And then my Patrick Tall ones. Oh, She's Different. She's That Girl. This is the one that I put on. It's very like Barbie-ish pink. So when I put on for that wedding and put on way too much, I then got scared for my life. And then She's Blushing. Oh, no, this is my go-to. Because this is very similar to Flora Tint from Benefit. And that's just like, it's my shade. It just makes sense for my face, my skin. Okay, she's good. And I typically don't use the cream side when I'm just like doing my makeup. I get the cream side and I understand why to use it, but I don't need to. Okay, so even this, crazy amount. Crazy pants amount. And I kind of like rub it off on the plasticky bit there and on the mirror. And like that's what I'll use to get a little bit more on, because if I keep rubbing it in the powder, too much. So like I'll dab it off onto that plastic and onto the mirror and then like pick it up from there again. A little bit there, because that's what Gen Z tells me to do. Feel sun-kissed. And then I'll go in again just with the empty and just kind of like touch up where I feel like I want a little cray-cray. Not adding more powder onto the bronzer brush. Well, brush is a hard word. But just kind of like making sure it pops out under the blush there. And then just like using this one to clean it up. And then I'll go in with, I grabbed both Twinkle and Cookie from Benefit. I'm obsessed. I usually, and again, just because I'm oily and I always feel like I'm shiny no matter what I do, so I would like avoid anything shimmery or any highlighters because I'm just like my face highlights itself. But then I tried Cookie, and especially when doing the TikTok lives, face popped. It's so good. Just do like a little bit there, and a little bit there, tiny bit there, and like a little bit above the brow. It's almost like a C around, and it looks very heavy now, but trust me, okay. I feel like this lighting in the camera is not doing me justice. I feel like I look clowny. I hope I don't, because I look great in the mirror, I'm not gonna lie. Except for obviously the shimmery highlighter. But once again, I'm gonna go in with not adding more to this, but just kind of like buffing it into the bronzer that I put there. And then not putting more on this, but just buffing it into my powder there. That way it's not like a line of highlighter. So that's all of the powdery products. I'm an oily gal, I need to set it. I have the all-nighter from Urban Decay. And I just go to town. Like I go to town to where it looks like I dunked my head in a bowl of water. And then because I'm soaking wet with this, and this also helps, like I feel like powdery will like sit in creases and make your makeup look cakier than it is. So this I feel like almost melts it all together. And then This is like hard to talk when you're like putting wind into your face. But I take this that I got from Venice many years ago, dug her out, and I like tried it. It's also something I learned from Patrick Ta, and he was like he sells a fan like this to set your makeup, and then I was like, why would I buy that when I probably have one? And I did. You're hot, you're on vacation, you buy a fan, and then what do you do with it? You just have like a pile of fans after. Like, now it has a use. And this also just like helps me look, now that like dewy is the look that's in and not like super matte. I feel like it takes all of that powder, which starts off matte, and just like gives like a dewy look. I forgot to put my eyeshadow on first. Just doing everything out of order for me today. Okie dokie. So now I go in and do my eyeshadows. I did get the Patrick Ta eyeshadow palette, the second one that's like more like browns, not pinks. I tried it once on Christmas and just like didn't like it. To me, it had like a lot of fallout, and then my coworker friend was like, oh, because this stuff like needs to be built up a lot, very buildable, but I just like didn't want to do that, because then I'm like, if I build too much, then I feel like I'm all of a sudden have a smoky eye, which is like not the look I was going for on Christmas. So it was hard for me, and it had like half of them were shimmers, which shimmers for me just like don't work, because I feel like I have a lot of like space between eyeball and eyebrow, and shimmers just kind of like accentuate that space. I don't want that. So half of the palette I wasn't even gonna use. I didn't like the ones that I did use, so I gave it to someone. But I do love what I got a while back are the Merit eyeshadow things. Oh my god, amazing. I have 4 of them. I have, first I started off with Brune and Vachetta. No, sorry, Brune and Midcentury. Ended up also getting Vachetta, which is kind of like my base one. And then I also got Viper, which is green, which I tried wearing once. I think I just like need to practice, because I put it on and I was just like, that's not me. I don't know what I'm doing. So then I just like covered it up with the other colors. But like the formula I love. It's not like watery and like stays like gross and creamy. Like it dries down almost like a powder. It's the best. Yeah, so that's a little brush. So I'm gonna go in with Vachetta first. I hope I'm saying that right. Just kind of like load her up on the brush, and this really goes like everywhere for me, even like above the crease. Is also kind of like the bronzer that I use, because before this I was just like taking bronzer and like putting it where I'm putting this right now and calling it a day, but this is way better and buildable too. I like got rid of all of the Ilia like liquid eye things. I never used them. They like dried horribly. They dried fast and horribly, and they looked, because they also went down to a powder, but then it looked like, I don't know, I just felt like my eyeballs were crusty. I never used them, especially the shimmery ones. I was just like, I don't know why I spent money on these. These are amazing. I do want the navy one. I feel like the navy of this, I can't think of its name, just like a little like liner situation, it looks so good. So that's the base. And then I go in with Midcentury, which is a little bit darker. I did also have the first Ilia bronzer that I bought was the darker one, because I was like, oh, I'm tan. This is not my shade. But I did keep it to almost do what I'm gonna do with this one right now, just like on the edges. Since I have gotten these, I finally got rid of that one. And this is one of the first ones that I bought, so I was initially doing what I just did with this one. And it was a little dark. This I still do really, really like. So I also just put that on the brush and then kind of like gently tap it in. And just like on the corners and a little bit of crease, just add a little bit of depth. Sound like I know what I'm talking about. And I could, if I wanted to, just like leave it like at what I'm doing now, especially for like a more like natural look. But I also want to show you the little eyeliner that I do with Brune. You can really, really build it up, and they blend well. I'm just obsessed with these. Good job, Merit. And then I am gonna curl my eyelashes and do some mascara first, and then I'll go in with like my eyeliner situation. I did host a live back in November for Stobe with Half Baked Harvest on her account, and at the end there were a lot of comments and I didn't answer any of them, but it was like, oh Lauren, your eyebrows look so good, and your like bronzer, and like asking me about my makeup. But it wasn't even on the Stobe account, it was on Half Baked Harvest account, so I didn't want to turn it into like the Lauren show. But if anybody from that is watching this, now you know all my makeup secrets. I'm gonna do the Merit, it's the new one. I learned that if you have a mascara and you don't open it up, then it's good for 3 years, but once they're open, they're not good. Like this one's only good for 6 months, I think it says. Once like makeup, anything's opened, it does have an expiration date. If you like bulk bought a bunch of mascaras, just don't open the tube. This one's my favorite, obviously, because Merit's like clean, which I love, and it's tubing, which I love. So boom, there's that. While it's kind of like drying down, I'll go in with my brow stuff just to kind of make them hold their shape. And since I did fill in the brows, I don't need to like do a lot of this. And then my lips have been so dry still, even though they've healed from whatever the heck happened. But I'll still probably just do like chapstick or something as my lip look. And quickly just kind of make sure I didn't get any eyebrow stuff over that. Put that back. And do this just to clean her up a little bit. Final little bit here is Brune from Merit. This, the like eyeliner tip of the brush, I personally think works better if it has a little bit of stuff like caked onto it. But again, I just washed my brushes the other day. This is my first use since washing them. I just feel like when it's caked in and like a bit stiffer, it's like better control. And then do like a little line, a little tiny fleck, and then just like build in and like fill in as necessary. My coworker also was like, you've mastered the art of like eyeliner for your eyes. And I'm usually just like bad with actual eyeliner. I can't do liquid eyeliner to save my life. But she's like, what you do is like so perfect for your face. I'm like, thank you. Definitely took me a lot of like trial and error from like times of trying to do other styles and being like, I look ridiculous. I feel like it really opens up my eyeballs. And then you just hope that you can do it again on the other side. And there you have it. And if I have any little dots of mascara, I'll usually just like go in with a little lash swab and clean it up. Other than that, just gotta put on some chapstick and I'm good to go. The finished look. Oh wait, take these down. Now it's the finished look. Now I'm off to film a video. Probably just one because it's getting gloomy. It's gonna storm later. The rain is coming, so I'll probably just get one out before it's much too dark. But this is my hosting makeup look. Super easy, simple, easy products, and I've just liked it so much more than what I've been doing before. It feels so much lighter and so much more natural. Like it's like glam but natural. It's not glam, but if you get close to me, you can tell that it's like creasing. It can last a full day and I don't look like a cake face after. So I'm very, very happy that I've like revamped my routine and that it just looks so much better and healthier. Not one because it was just like getting too creasy. It was kind of just like ending up, like it made me feel older at the end of the day. Whereas like this, I definitely just like feel more my age. So if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you have any questions or if you want any color matching help and what else you want to see here on my channel. I am trying to get more consistent with it, I promise. I just can't do workouts because of my torn ACL, but hopefully I'll be getting back to that soon. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe. I upload a video every other Wednesday is the goal. So thank you so much and I'll see you in the next one.